Hello everybody, Lazy Game Dev here. I'm making a Fire Emblem inspired SRPG based on theater and the Wars of the Roses. So today I come at you with a bit of a new thing for me, a very unscripted sort of video where my intention is to just ramble a bit. I'm going on a trip. For like a week, and I've been really trying to push for a video per week, and I would have achieved that if I hadn't thought the indie scam video was so good I needed to release it on the same day that I finished editing it. So because I released that too early, then I have no video for this week that I'm off. Editing note, you guys might have realized that I have not uploaded in 1 month. I was gonna upload this before going on my trip, but then I lost access to my account for the editing software, and I couldn't edit this or do any videos for 3 weeks, and now I'm getting back into the swing of things. Anyways, hope you enjoy. And I took a look at the work I've done for this week, and I've only been doing animations, and I just did a video on the battle animations inspired by Fire Emblem. I just did a video on that and it performed quite poorly. So surely people don't want to sit through me doing an improv unscripted video talking about the animations that I've done this week. Well, I was clearly wrong because you are watching this right now. So let's get to it, I guess. Right, so I've been going ham on the battle animations. I recommend you check that previous video where I explain a bit of the process I'm following. But basically, when the two characters interact in the map and they start fighting, a front stage theater scene pops up and the two characters perform an attack animation at each other. And there are 9 different actors in the game, 8 if we exclude Gerard, and there are 6 classes currently at the moment. So that's 8 times 6, which is 48 different animations, because each actor needs an animation for each class, and then an extra one which is Gerard with the archer, or maybe more than one extra one. We'll get into that in a bit. But roughly 50 animations, right? So I knocked down all of Bonnie's animations, and then I decided to go into the other characters that appear in Act 1 and Act 2, because you have a limited roster of actors for those ones, and you also have a limited roster of classes available, right? So here's Gerard's archer animation. He's done in the red Lancaster colors because Gerard is an enemy in the first act, but I need to do a palette swap of this animation at some point. He's really not excited to be here. I use this kind of annoyed, bored sort of effect where he just half-fastly pulls up the bow and just okay, I guess I'm doing this. He really doesn't want to be here. As part of the story in the game, his motivations are a bit unclear at the beginning, but as the story progresses you'll understand more about them. And I'm toying with the idea of doing another animations, because as his character will develop, he will be more invested in the theater club, and he will start to feel less of a pain participating in this whole theatrics sort of thing. Then also on the enemy side, in need of a recolor, is Lorelei. Lorelei as a sword fighter. Specifically in Act 1 she's playing as Jack Cade, but I'm not doing different animations based on the roles, especially for a character in the play that only appears during the first act. So she's got a cape, a sword, she dashes forward, she gets dizzy, falls while slashing. A funny character trait that I like about Lorelei is that she's very energetic and clumsy, so a lot of her animations you will see she falls over or hits herself and injures herself in some sort of comedic sort of way. But Lorelei is a very optimistic person. She's kind of clumsy, bad luck, but always smiles in the face of life being rough to her in that sort of way, Then Lorelei as an engineer, she throws this sort of toy rocket launcher, you can see it's a toy, up in the air, tries to catch it, but it falls on her head. There's this animated star effect, but then she grabs it and does the the shot. There's an effect as well. I didn't animate the bullet, I'm not sure why, well, I probably forgot. Yeah, the bullet will probably be in the animation itself in the sprite sheet. I will have to re-import that because I was toying with the idea of having like projectiles and stuff separate, but it was less of a headache to make them in the animation. Lorelei as a cavalier. This one is probably the one where she suffers the least. She just kind of like falls a bit on her ass after doing this like forward jump slash while pogoing of her horse stick. One thing I will add about these cavalier animations as we transition into Carla's cavalier animation is that they all have a unique horse stick. Well, most of the outfits are basically completely different to accommodate for the character's personality and yeah, body build types, but I also went ahead and made all of the horse sticks different to reflect a bit their personality or try to imitate their character. So Carla's horse is kind of similar to her and Lorelai's is similar to Lorelei. And then we have Archie's, which isn't that similar to him, but it's a chess knight. That's really clever because if you watched my chess, I revolutionized SRPG's devlog, you know that I incorporated chess into the game, and Archie is your teacher. He's a pro at chess, so that's kind of a cool little nod. And he is the only one who uses a jousting lance for the cavalier animation so far, at least. This is because I settled on this piercing motion and the sword really didn't seem as expressive with this. And yeah, initially I wanted to do them all with the same weapon, but since I'm changing so much stuff, I thought I was limiting myself. I also like this like cape thingy. I didn't want to give him a full cape because the full cape I use for the sword fighters, and he doesn't have a sword fighter animation at the moment. And yeah, aside from that, he also brags a bit before doing the animation. I thought that was pretty cool. And then he pierces and there's this like crystal shattering effect, which I quite like. If we go back to Carla's animation, it's quite fun to contrast them because, well, they are siblings and they have like a lot of parallels in the game as well. And Carla is definitely a bit of a show-off. But she's like very precise and calculated as well, so she's very agile and she's like overall very proficient at everything. She wants to be perfect. That's kind of like one of her defining character traits. Archie, on the other hand, is more like rich kid braggy sort of thing, like look at me, or not that much look at me, or like underestimating your opponent, knowing that you're better than them in a way that Carla doesn't do, and that's kind of like tied to his character. I'm trying my best to put as many nuances in the animations for the characters as possible. Who else do we have? Right, so those are all of the, including Bonnie, which I won't cover because I showcased her in the previous video, those are all of the starting characters, the starting actors you have, and then I started to move on to the characters, the rest of the cast that you unlock in map 3. Having said that, I've only worked on Nico at the moment, since in Act 3 you unlock 2 new classes for your party, which are the sword fighter and the priest. I went ahead and did those 2 animations for Nico. Now Nico is animated to be very cool and edgy, but also a bit dorky in some sort of way, you know. His sword fighter animation I really like. I don't think anyone will get the reference I'm going for because it's very specific, or more is an inspiration. He kind of has like this like Wolverine's claws that come out. He just kind of like does like this, and instead of like just a regular sword that everybody has, just like 3 claws come out of every one of his like sleeves, and he just goes in for a full swipe, which was very hard to animate, and I'm still not like fully happy with it, but I tried a lot of stuff to actually make it seem like he's like arms crossed and then unleashes this big ass swipe. And I also used the same like shattering effect I used for Archie's Cavalier animation. In the initial and end frame, he has his like cape, which is like styled like a vampire sort of cape, open and close in that way. I wanted to lean more into the like vampire references because it's one of his main interests, and he can't stop yapping about vampires. But I didn't want to. I'm trying to keep them at an average of like 38 to 42 frames, so they are like visually interesting and have some motion and cool personality, but they aren't really they don't drag on too much or like slow the pace of the game down, because if they do, people are going to like deactivate them, and I've spent a lot of time on them for you to deactivate them. So the option is there, but you should not use it. And the other one of Nico's animation is his priest animation, where he just has this like dark book of magic, even though it's a priest, but it fits Nico quite well. It's actually a reference to the dark prognosticus in Super Paper Mario. Yes, I will put Super Paper Mario references everywhere. Keep your eyes peeled because they are everywhere. Maybe even the whole game is a Super Paper Mario reference. But anyways, using the power of twinning and stuff, it throws the book up, I catch it, and then you just like shut open the book. I think it's a nice contrast and also an improvement over Bonnie's animation, where I was aiming for this like magical girl spin with the stick. The staff, and I'm using the same like I'm using the same projectile effect, which all of them will use because they are using the same attack at the end of the day. I was actually planning on talking about implementing the animations in game and how that has been going. It's not like the just export simple process you might think it is. It's actually required a few. It actually requires quite a complex workflows with a lot of steps I've had to figure out, and I've had to add a lot of scripts to the game to achieve the effect I want. There's so much more going on than just, okay, yeah, these two characters, play animations, that's it. But I've been recording for a while, and I think I'm gonna cut stuff because I've redone a few segments so far. I'm really bad at unscripted stuff. This is why I use a script normally. But let me know if you guys enjoy this more casual, subdued type of devlog.